Ba-doop-doop-doop-doop. Well, if you got no life and there's nowhere to go, tune in to the animation. Wait, animation Truman Show. Yeah, I guess that's how the jingle goes. Okay, so haven't streamed in a while. Uh, Life's been busy. I hate to use the old "gee, it's just been so crazy around here" excuse, but that's pretty much it. Went on vacation, tripped out to Denver for a week. That was cool. Got to spend some time with family. Blah blah blah. I'm rearranging a couple things on my screen, and probably probably nobody's going to show up because I haven't properly announced this. So what I'm going to do right now, while we're in the introductory moment, is grab the link from this right now, kill that, and then jump over to Discord and just post it. Discord. And I'm going to open Discord. So bear with me, folks. We're just about ready to rock. Just about ready to get this going. And so I'm going to Blended Planet. And I'm going to, where are my announcements? Right there. And boom. Just place that in my Discord. Okay. So here we are. Like I said, it's been a while, and it's kind of an interesting exercise this morning. The reason I decided to go ahead and live stream is just because this was proving to be a challenging scene. It wasn't quite capturing what I had hoped for. So that's what this Krita shot is. There's some things that are embarrassingly wrong with this, but the bottom line is the things that are most egregious are fixable, very fixable. So the problem isn't the subtle bits like the transform mask having its timing be off and things like that. The problem is the acting. It's just not quite there. You know, sort of like losing the character, boom, right in the middle there. So anyway, I kind of got through this whole thing in Crete, and I thought, you know, it would be cool to just jump back over to Tahoma just to shake things up. Just to shake things up, friends. So then what I did was I took a different approach to the acting. So I drew Salud, added a little blink blink with the eyes. And by the way, if anybody's wondering what are we even working on here? Okay, so this is Salt and Light episode 3, and I kind of laid in some voices a couple days ago, recorded some voices, and unfortunately this has no soundtrack. Okay, so there's I mean in terms of like music or sound effects or anything. So this is the part I'm working on.
Golic, you are a messy boy. Lord Golic, back so soon.
It is dry, isn't it?
So, how was the wedding?
With no music or sound effects.
I'm sure it was just marvelous. Enough with your incessant prattle.
Blink, blink.
You know it was a debacle.
Okay, so this is the shot I'm basically working on right now. You know, I tell you the truth. I delivered Salt and Light episodes 1 and 2 to the distributor. Gosh, it had to have been 8 months ago, and we still don't know what the earnings picture is. You know, so it's like available everywhere, like Amazon Prime and Tubi, and obviously here on YouTube. But there is no good sense of whether the thing is, you know, kind of going to pay for itself. So I won't know that probably until the first part of August, unfortunately. And whoop-de-doo. So this is really, what I'm working on today is really about, you know, it's July 5th. Let's have some fun doing animation. You know, let's just challenge ourselves to do a little bit of that acting thing. So in the acting, what I did was I added this blink blink, boop boop, and then I decided to have him close his arms. So there's definitely an issue right here. To get from here to here is obviously a little unrealistic. So let's go ahead and take these two frames. Actually, better yet, probably the way to do it would be to just extend this. We're at 8 frames per second, so excuse me, a 1 frame tween would probably work fine. Okay, so what do we want to do here? Well, he does lean a little bit, so let's just get a couple things that we know for sure are going to happen. Hey, Darren. Yeah, I'm back. I'm just. It's been a interesting few months actually, where, um, as I was just actually saying, I don't know if you were watching, but we still don't know what the revenue picture is on Salt and Light, and it's been almost 9 months, so I won't know for about another month. We should have the first quarter of earnings, and so it's like, as far as the business side of it, you go, gosh, is this going to turn out to be a win? And the fact is, we just don't know yet. So anyway, today I thought, well, you know what? I just am kind of in the mood to do some animation, and why not jump into Tahoma? So anyway, good to see you. Hope things are all well and good over there in jolly old England. Okay, so now we got a question here. The question is, do we want to go for a big exaggeration kind of thing? I think at 8 frames per second, it might be interesting to try. So let's just erase this hand. I don't actually even need the arm in there. What I probably need to do is just tune in. Cool. Yeah, I know. To find out. I have a feeling it'll be a disappointment, but that's okay. That's okay. Um, I should say one of the key reasons that I have not been live streaming is I've mentioned in prior live streams that the last 2 to 3 years has been a real journey of awakening for me, facing things about my psycho-emotional training, conditioning, and the responsibility I bear for reinforcing narratives that were implanted in me as a child. And so there's been this whole journey that's taken like 2 or 3 years to kind of wake up to matters having to do with misogyny and ego and self-protection and all kinds of shit. If you want to know about what I'm thinking about that, if you're curious, just go to TikTok. Go to TikTok, Blended Planet, and you'll find not that many videos, but they're short, and they all cut right to the heart of different observations that I've been able to make about myself and the human condition. And that's frankly just been way, way more interesting to me than anything else. I'm fortunate that I have the luxury to be able to indulge such stuff. But you guys overseas truly must think that we Americans are insane. When we look at the socio-political landscape and the increasing, and I see it a lot on TikTok actually. I've come to love TikTok as a platform. I love TikTok because content doesn't succeed because it's curated or employs best practices. It really cuts right to the heart of interesting ideas that are easy to vet. That's a really cool thing on TikTok. The repost capability makes it truly a popularity contest in the sense that if you think this is good content, you just repost and instantly the algorithm knows that you're responding to it. But on the other hand, the stitch functionality makes it dead easy to correct or call out misinformation. So this whole idea that TikTok is dangerous in some way from a misinformation standpoint, or is comically ridiculous. And obviously the whole TikTok thing came about because Facebook didn't really want TikTok stealing their market share. That's my opinion, cynical though it may be. But it's been surprising. I've only been involved with TikTok for about probably a month and a half, and I've found that I really enjoy it. I think it hits the sweet spot that Twitter kind of sort of used to be, but lost its way. You know, with video included. Okay, so now what I'm doing here is I'm doing a really exaggerated um, tween just to see if it works, right? So let's give it a shot, friends. Okay, not bad. Not bad. I actually think I can live with this. Let's kind of, I guess, unlike in Krita, we have to actually set a new range if we want to do a quick and dirty preview. And by the way, weigh in, Darren, if you know, is there a way like in Krita, if I'm two things that are notable in Krita. First of all, if I grab a range like this, all of a sudden that becomes the preview range, which is cool. And the other thing is, if you're in a regular animation layer, then you can right mouse click and set the update the playback range. If you didn't have a selection here, it would say give you this ability to start the start or change the start time or end time. Okay. So, and by the way, hey Sifter, good to see you. Mikhail, good to see you too. I can't guarantee I'm going to be out and about a lot, but I think I am. I've kind of gone through this transitional period in my life where I'm feeling, it's like I've got a lot um, clean fuel burning in my tank. That's the only way I know how to describe it. So anyway, do you know, Darren, is there a way to actually have a quick and dirty change in the playback range without having to actually set the start and end point? I'm assuming not. Okay, so this is not bad. I mean, this is not a bad way to go in terms of a tween. So if we're gonna, let's keep this loose. Loose, 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 loose. Not really. Okay, yeah, that's what I figured. No big deal. I just wondered if there was something I was unaware of there. But you can set up the short play. I have no idea what the short play means. I haven't been keeping up with Tahoma that much. In fact, I'm sure I'm like in an ancient version here. What is this? This is 1.2. I've been stuck on 1.2 like forever. What are they up to? Like 1.4 now or something? You can set up the short play BRB. And I hate to plead ignorance again, but I got to sit and think, what does BRB mean? It's probably something stupidly obvious, and because my brain's sort of in animation world right now, I'm not thinking clearly. So, okay, be right back. Oh, okay, okay, cool. And you know what, guys? One thing I think I'll do here too is in terms of what I've been up to, I've actually been doing quite a lot of painting. And so I'll tell you if anybody's curious, what do we got here? Control Alt 5. If anybody's curious, this like recent paintings, this would be quite recent. So that is oil on paper. Let's just go down the list here. This was just a couple days ago, also oil on paper. So this has been a fun adventure. Here's a recent one that was sort of a mix of watercolor slash gouache kind of thing. What are the new ones? Oh, that's the wrong one. Terrence McKenna. So yeah, you get the idea. Fun stuff. It's I tell you, it's good for the soul. All right, so a couple things we want to correct here. Like this elbow, probably this elbow should be coming down to about that level too. How embarrassing. I didn't know the acronym for how do you scan them? Actually, that's a great question. I take a picture. with my Pixel phone, you know. So I mean, I did do a commission recently, um, where yeah, it'd be this one. I forgot about this one. So this was a commission for someone who was moving into well, they moved into a really nice kind of a southern mansion kind of situation, and they for some reason wanted pelicans in their bedroom, you know, above their headboard kind of thing. So, yeah, the short play is a secret shortcut key, only way to play the latest few frames. It's set up to Alt P. Huh. Let's give this an interesting stab. We'll set the range back to where I think I had it before was 42. And you're saying Alt P, well, let's assume that's the default. Okay. Okay. And that's interesting. So then wherever I start, I bet determines, well, no, that's interesting too. Let me go to the end here. Okay, so wherever you're clicked, so I guess we're learning together here, folks. So wherever you are clicked is the end of the short play. I like that. That's a really useful feature, dude. Thank you. Now, do we have the ability to, you know, if we want to set it to say 12 frames or sec, in my case, probably 8, like 1 second would probably be a good way to go. So if I'm guessing, yes, it's to play the last few frames. So what would this be under? And you can jump in and tell me if I'm chasing rainbows here, because the option to tweak it doesn't exist, because I assume it does. But preview? So, oh, I'm sorry, dude. You can set the number of frames in the preferences preview. So I got that right. Number of frames to play for short play. There it is, right in front of my face, and it's already set to 8. So actually, for me, I'm suspecting that probably 12 is more appropriate. Good call, man. What a great, that's a really cool feature. I'm thinking I'd prefer if it looped until I was ready for it to stop, but whoop-de-doo, you just click, click, click. No big deal. A looped short play button would be useful too. Yeah. All good though. All right, so where are we at? Okay, so the thing was, and this came up when I was doing the creative version of it, which I was not satisfied with. Once he lands in his final position and starts his dialogue, obviously I change it so instead of the hands on the hips, he's got the hands closed. I'm not sure that's the better choice, but the thing was, I really wanted baked into this animation the idea of Salute going like that. Well, somebody's got their tights in a tizzy. That's actually the line of dialogue he says. So with that in mind, what I did was I figured I'll do a quick and dirty second layer and set up a quick and dirty plastic tool just so we can see if this is kind of sort of working. So the first thing I'm going to do here is grab the color and turn this into more of a simple flatting kind of effect. Okay. And then what I need to do is combine these two together, which I have to remember my hotkeys. I think it's Shift Control Down arrow for me. Yes. And that turns this into a sub-X sheet. And Control Down arrow goes down into the sub-X sheet, and Control Up arrow goes up out of the sub-X sheet. Now that's how my hotkeys are set up. And Darren, I apologize, dude. I am so out of the loop. These like I don't know what snap means. That's so sad. It's so sad that I don't know what snap means. But anyway, I'll say it again because there's more people here maybe are checking it out than. If you guys want to know one thing that's been occupying my mind recently, look at Blended Planet on TikTok. Because on TikTok, what I'm doing is short videos that have nothing to do with animation. They have to do with emotional health, basically, and how to be happy and shit like that. It's really pretty cool, actually. The things I've learned in the last 2 years have been so profound that it's revolutionized my wife, Valerie, and my relationship, and that I've come to, whoa, I just made a mistake. Um, Tool, plastic tool. I guess it's just X. I'm sorry, I hit Control X like a silly goose. All right, I need to create a mesh, but wait, friends. We need to create the mesh here. Okay. Important point. Actually, if you're going to fiddle around with this type of a thing, yeah, check it out, Mikhail. And feel free to comment or whatever. Again, it's completely different content than what you see here because this is obviously focused on animation. And what's been dear to my heart for the last couple years really is what you see over there on TikTok. For me, the animation thing is kind of incidental to the real nuts and bolts of the journey that I'm on in life. So anyway, what I want to do here, this is important. If we're going to use the plastic tool, if we did not have this layer, then the plastic tool would create a mesh only around the lines. So it's important that things be filled in. But there's another thing to keep in mind here. We also want to make this region right here bigger for purposes of the plastic tool. Why? Well, because later what's going to happen is there's going to be another layer added where the mouth is moving, which means that the shape of the cage that's being animated is changing because the mouth is moving. So therefore, what we need to do is make sure that we have a shape in here. And actually, I could hit the V key and just paint it in. So I want to make sure I've got enough of a zone that the plastic tool is influencing to make sure it's going to accommodate that moving mouth. Okay? Makes sense? Hopefully that makes sense. Okay, now we have a judgment call to make. And the judgment call is, do we want to put the plastic tool in the sub-X sheet or on the sub-X sheet? By on, what I mean is, if I come up out of the sub-X sheet, I'm saying I'm going to apply the plastic tool here. For me, that makes more sense because I think it's the programmer in me. I like the idea of being able to take subcomponents and combine them into a finished item that then becomes, a standalone component. It just is a way of organizing your work that is a little easier on the brain, I guess, or something. So anyway, I'm going to go to frame 15 because I want to create my plastic tool mesh on frame 15 after he stops moving. So I hit the X key and create a mesh. And as you can see, the mesh wrapped nicely around this region so that when we introduce some animation, some chatter here, the plastic tool won't be affected. Now there is a little bit of a trade-off with that. Okay, I don't know what just happened. I said delete the old level entirely, and I may have actually just damaged something from an old scene. I don't know. I'll find out downstream. Anyway, so the caveat that I mentioned a second ago is that because we've got this larger mesh area, that'll make it slightly tricky to get a real clean bend on his neck. Now, fortunately, I don't actually think we need to have a clean bend on his neck. So I'm just going to put the root here. I'm going to do 2 nodes there, 2 nodes here, and then up into his head. Okay, let's save our work, and then let's just kind of find out how it's working, Here, look at that. That's got a really nice natural. This is actually where the flaw in the plastic tool reveals itself to actually be kind of cool. In other words, if you were working in Blender or something, you probably would be annoyed at this because you're going, wait a second, I'm just trying to bend his neck. Why would his body be shifting back and forth? That's just because of the math that they use under the hood. And it can be mitigated completely by simply adding more nodes. So if I grab this node and then create a little mini cage right here that sort of protects this range from here down, that allows me to trick the algorithm, if as it were. You can still see a little bit of artifacting, but okay, so now I actually liked it better before, so I'm going to leave that. Okay, okay, I like it. I like what I'm seeing here. So, okay, so question. Why does that disappear before? Okay, this is one of those things you run into, and I can already see a workaround that will fix it. So I'm going to say, here's what's going on. On frame 15, we have a mesh. The mesh is effectively acting on the animated sub-X sheet. Okay? It is effectively acting as a mask to that layer. So this layer is effectively being masked by the plastic tool, and you see that here. So the problem is, up here, there's no mask. Okay? The simple solution is to, let me think about how I want to do this. I could, like, I can, there's actually more than one way to fix this problem. One way would be to do this. Just create a vector layer here and draw a big rectangle like that. And by the way, Darren, if you're still around and you want to say, but Dave, that's like the stupid way to do it, feel free to point that out. Okay. Now here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go back up here. Let me see what happens when I create a mesh here. Maybe if I do it on another layer. This is a little annoying. Oh yeah. Create a mesh. Okay, that's what I wanted, so I apply that. And that's what I should have done before. Okay, so now we have that. Okay? And you go, well, that's pretty ugly. Well, yeah, but the thing is, we can go in here and actually turn this level off so we don't see it anymore. Problem solved. So anyway, that just gave us our image back. It's not a stupid way. Okay, there's a few ways to do it. I just moved drawing 15 to a new column. Yeah, that's true too. Actually, great idea. That would have, okay, Darren just identified the much simpler solution, which would be to take, actually, I'm kind of doing the reverse of what he said, but what you would do is just take these frames and move them over here. And then I think, let me see. Yeah, if I just move these to a different column, then the masking that's taking place here is no longer in effect. If I want to, just for cleanness, I can sort of rearrange that. But I'd say Darren's idea there is pretty good. All right. However, for now, I'm just going to keep doing it the way I was doing it. Okay? No big deal either way. Here, let me hit the X key. Okay, so basically, presumably, this should be like that. I can see because the rectangle looks clean, so that tells me this is probably the initial position that I wanted. Now I'm going to take this keyframe and actually drag it all the way down to here so that its effect prevails and there's no tween. There's no gradual turn. Actually, strike that, by the way. I'm actually going to give it one frame of tween. Cool. Okay. Now, what was the point of all of this? The point was to then infuse Salud's acting with an attitude that's like, well, let me see what he says. He says, well, somebody's got their tights in a tizzy. Okay, yeah, I mean about 42 frames seems to be pretty good. So he says, wow. All right, so here's what I'm thinking. First of all, I do not remember if I can cut and paste these keys. Yeah, looks like I can. Okay, so now I'm going to use that feature that Darren showed me, Alt P, just to get the last second and a half. Wow, I like that better. And why did that stop? That's interesting. Wow, somebody. Okay, so he's going to say, so let's go back to a regular playback. Wow, some, right there. So here I'm going to go Control C. And by the way, for those who are anal about these things, obviously what we could do is go into the function editor and set the interpolation to constant instead of copying the keys. I like copying the keys because in the time or the X sheet, it really just gives you more control. You know, that's my opinion. So, okay. Control C, Control V. I'm going to give it a one frame tween. We'll see if this works. Control V, 2-frame tween, boom, boom. Okay, and probably we need to extend this playback range to like 50-ish or something. Wow, somebody's tights are in a tizzy. Okay, interesting. I don't like the acting. I'm going to set the start marker there. I feel like, yep, basically all of the actions reversed from what I think is more preferable. So since this has a bunch of copied frames, the easiest solution is just to undo it. And actually, let me check something first because I'm having a dyslexia moment where I have to remember, was the objectionable move this way or that way? Okay, so we actually want him to move this way first. Okay. So I can maybe make this work. I have to think about this. This is a lock from here to here. But here, what we're trying to get to is the forward position, not the back position. So there's that. So that actually solved that. And I think, is this, actually, I think I might have this set to, I might have, I was going to say set to constant interpolation by default, but clearly I don't. So never mind. Forget I said that. I must have just coincidentally had a copied frame. If you don't know what I'm talking about, friends, don't worry about it. It's not that important. Point being, animation more or less fixed. What time is it? 34 minutes. Okay. All right, so let's check it out. 1, 2. Wow, somebody's got their tights in it. Okay, that's pretty good. That feels quite good. The glitch being the timing here is a little off. That needs to stretch out a bit. Wow, somebody's got their tights in a tizzy. Okay, that's perfect. I mean, it's basically perfect. So now all we got to do is add the lip sync, and we will be good to go. Hey, Val. There goes my beautiful princess. Save all. Okay. What can I do here? Now that Val's up. Hey guys, look. Now that my beautiful love buggy is up and about, I know, isn't it great, Darren? What I would like to do, I know this has been a short session, but look, I haven't been on in a while, right? And you know I'll be back if it's fun. So let's keep it fun by not dragging it out too long. I want to go hang out with my lovely lady. And so for that reason, I'll go ahead and sign off. I may come back on later. We'll see. So I hope that's not too disruptive for you. Like I said at the start, check out what I'm doing over there on TikTok. Again, Blended Planet. It's cool stuff I'm eager to share. In fact, I will even say this, you guys. If you really want to know what's been going through my noggin for the last couple years, go to that domain right there, davidmatthewweist.com, and you can really get the. It's basically a blog, and you can really understand the first probably 6 or 7 articles are really sequential, almost like a book kind of thing. It flows nicely. Check it out. Let me know what you think. And with that, I will sign off and wish all of you guys a wonderful day. Okay?